Good day. This is Darnell Myers Johnson for the Meyers Music Report on Tumblr.com. A written feature of this conversation will also appear on the urbanmusicscene.com. Today I'm speaking with a lady whose legendary musical lineage is familiar to all of us. But with her self-titled debut album in 1990, she began carving out her own musical legacy. Hers is now one of the most recognizable voices in R&B and jazz. We're here to talk to her about the early days of her debut album and to find out what she has planned for 2013. Today I'm speaking with Miss Lalah Hathaway. How are you, Lalah?
I'm good, thank you.
I just want to say from the start that I do appreciate your taking time out to do this today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you for your time.
Your debut album still resonates with so many of your fans. It's been 23 years, if my math is right. Does it feel like it's been that long ago?
No, not at all. I mean, sometimes I look back and it seems like 1,000 years ago, and then sometimes I look back and it's like 7 weeks ago. So that is the nature of time, but it's definitely a long time.
Yeah. Why do you think that album still connects with so many people all this time later?
I think it was a good record. I think it was, there were a couple of things on there that were possible missteps, but I think in terms of the expression, the songs, the sound of the record, the intent of the record, people just got it,
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say missteps, I guess, are you referring to some of the more New Jack Swing type cuts?
I wouldn't refer to anything. I'm just saying that I think that sometimes, you have a record and some of the continuity sometimes gets lost.
Gotcha.
But I think overall, I thought it was a great record, and looking back on it, I think it's a really good record, and I'm very proud of it.
Mm-hmm. Now, as everyone knows, that debut was on Virgin Records, a major name in music at the time. You were still in college while you were recording it. How did a college student hook up with one of the biggest labels of the day?
Back then you used to just make a demo and submit it. And, there were, all the stories about, like, Mariah Carey having a cassette tape or
right.
Someone singing in a show and getting signed. And that was possible in the 80s and early 90s. I don't know that it happens so much anymore, but it just so happened that I recorded a demo and got a manager, and the manager shopped it, and Virgin took the deal.
Mm-hmm. And it was just that simple.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go. You didn't have to do any showcases or auditions or.
No, not at all. And thank goodness.
Well, being the daughter of Donny Hathaway, whose work is still so loved and respected, how much of a role do you think that played in getting that initial deal?
Probably a lot. It's one of those things, like, people always ask, do you think that your name helps or hurts, or is it a blessing or a curse? Is it a help or a hindrance? And really all I know is the way I know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certain that it has opened some doors for me, and it has probably also closed some doors for me as well,
Right.
There are a lot of expectations, and there are a lot of eyes and ears,
mm-hmm.
On it. But I think that I was so kind of focused on being on my path that it was never really a problem for me.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you have any conscious concern about your musical direction? Like, I know in the case of Natalie Cole, she specifically, when she first came out anyway, specifically did not want to go into the jazz, arena because of her father. Did you have any thoughts about that when you were designing your first album?
No, I don't even, it's hard to go back and really assess what I was thinking during my first record.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did not design my first record.
Mm-hmm.
I think the label designed it, my manager designed it, and back in those days, as an artist, as a young woman, they kind of told you where to stand, and you just went and stood there,
And just said, is this mic on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different time now. It's a different, whole different thing now to see Beyonce and Rihanna and all these young women empowered and understanding what their power is.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fascinating, because I used to just show up where they told me to show up.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense, really, when you're first coming out the gate. That makes sense. I think even today, if for someone being brand new and with a major label, if one exists anymore.
No, I don't think they exist anymore. But I do think that there's a lot more what's the word for it? There's a bit more control and dominion in terms of being an artist right now than there was, or than I perceived there was. You know, it was not an option for me to